Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.
Welcome to all.
History is made of stories.
In this episode, we'll be talking about the strategic role of HR departments.
How many times have we heard people say HR departments are strategic? But that doesn't mean much when you think about it. HR departments are not strategic in their own right, but they do contribute to the company's strategy.
So, if HR departments play a part in the company's strategy, what part do they play? What exactly is the strategic contribution of HR departments? What's the story?
The first way in which HR departments further a company's strategy is by ensuring the company has the right human capital to achieve its goals.
A company's strategy leads to a multi-year plan. HR departments are tasked with rolling out company policy and related initiatives in areas involving human resources to further that plan.
That's what we call strategic alignment. Alignment in the sense of making things consistent, ensuring HR action plans and policies support the organization's overall strategy.
That involves drawing up an HR roadmap to help the company roll out its strategy. The roadmap covers all aspects of HR activities and related processes.
It starts with allocating resources early. The aim is to identify tangible initiatives and ensure the organization has the right human resources, hiring, training, and even pursuing acquisitions to quickly bring the right talent on board.
But the role of HR departments stretches beyond execution alone. They can also play a part in shaping the strategy from the outset through forward planning and decision-making. That's the proactive part of the job.
When COVID uprooted even the best-laid plans, companies began contemplating a whole range of what-if scenarios. What do we do if everything comes tumbling down? What if things suddenly pick up? And so on.
HR departments are part of that discussion by helping to put together assumptions relative to their scope and skills, and by taking a critical look at the organization.
That might mean foreseeing a potential shortage of talent in the market to make sure the company is ready when the time comes, or looking at different scenarios to work out how they might affect the workforce.
Or thinking about how widespread use of artificial intelligence might affect jobs, business lines, and capabilities in the future. Those developments have a more long-term impact than the previous examples.
The sooner HR departments get involved in reviewing the underlying business and the way it should be structured, for example through a merger, takeover, or revamp, the less they're likely to suffer unwelcome surprises further down the line.
HR departments should play a consulting role that's central to the business. They're not just an engaged spectator. They're a proactive player.
There's a third and final type of strategic contribution with even longer-term scope. I'm talking about issues related to the company's culture, values, and protocols.
That's a multifaceted issue. It starts with the underlying question of whether the company's current culture is compatible with its goals. Because you can't just transform a culture overnight. It takes time.
HR departments play an important role here. In fact, it's perhaps one of their most important roles, their ability to serve as a safeguard and a stimulus.
That leads to initiatives like the drive to adapt to the digital culture, involving changes to the leadership model and all underlying processes.
Then there's the whole issue of corporate social responsibility, which is also part of a long-term strategy and one of the pillars of HR policy.
To recap, HR departments shape the company's strategy in three ways. First, through alignment, which involves supporting the overall strategy and all things related to human resources. Second, through forward planning, which means helping to shape the strategy at the earliest possible stage. And third, by growing the corporate culture. Is that right?
Exactly right. Way to make a long story short.
Story RH, the podcast that makes a long story short.